Hey, what's going on? I'm back with you again. This is from ccn.com, and this is about Jake Paul, YouTube influencer extraordinaire. Well, not extraordinaire, but you know. It says, while Jake Paul is getting by with just a slap on the wrist for what he probably have to pay a fine and volunteer to wash puppies to pay back his debt to society, other protesters are looking at a lot worse. Whew. It says Jake Paul gets charged with looting, but privilege rescues him from justice. Yes. No one is doubting that. The author's name is Burnett G. I'm going to put it in the description. It says Jake Paul was finally hit with a charge for his participation in the Arizona looting spree. Given how minor the charge is, justice isn't swift, fair, or fair. It says Jake Paul was charged after he was caught looting in the Arizona mall. Don't get too excited. He was only charged with criminal trespassing. Excuse me, criminal trespass. Gives how minor the charge is. It seems justice isn't exactly swift. Jake Paul fought the law and the law won. Well, maybe it was actually a draw. The YouTube influencer has been charged with one count of criminal trespass and another count of unlawful assembly after he participated in the Arizona looting spree. While this seems like a step in the right direction, Paul only gets charged with misdemeanors, a far cry from what other protesters are facing. This is what he posted. He said, "Give me my charges and let me put the focus back on George Floyd and Black Lives Matter." Ugh, he is an ass. It says Jake Paul probably won't serve a day in jail after the Scottsdale police, if you can call them that, the Scottsdale Police Department received hundreds of tips confirming that he was the looting in the Fashion Square. Jake Paul was finally charged with 2 misdemeanor offenses. It goes on to say, quote, "Our investigation has revealed that that Paul was present after the protest was declared an unlawful assembly and rioters were ordered to leave the area by police. Paul also unknowingly entered and remained inside the mall when it was closed." Unknowingly. I'm pretty sure they made announcements. But anyway, per the Scottsdale police, because Paul wasn't caught on camera stealing anything, he was only hit with the minor infraction. Did they watch the same video? And this video is the source is Insider Edition, and we are going to I'm going to play this video from Insider Edition, and it clearly shows Jake Paul being Jake Paul. Let's see if we can.
Oh my God! Oh my God! It's getting crazy.
Jake Paul says he and his team did not participate in looting and vandalism at an Arizona mall. Video of the YouTube star and his team members at the Scottsdale Fashion Square was posted to Instagram by Andrew Blue, who claims to be Logan's videographer. The video shows people breaking windows of the shopping center outside. It also shows what happened inside, including people smashing the windows of a display car and entering a Sephora through the broken glass door.
Hey, yo, give me a free cologne.
Paul came under criticism for the video, but took to social media to defend himself, saying, "To be absolutely clear, neither I nor anyone in our group was engaged in any looting or vandalism. For context, we spent the day doing our part to peacefully protest one of the most horrific injustices our country has ever seen." Andrew Blue also defended their actions, writing, "We were strictly documenting the situation and doing our part to use our platform to raise awareness about this horrific event and the overall injustice." While many outraged over the killing of George Floyd in Minnesota peacefully protested across the country, others have taken the opportunity to commit acts of violence and vandalism. While Paul insists he is not one of them, he understands the outrage and the anger felt by many and was there to show his support. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Mara Montalbano.
Okay, so you just seen that from Inside Edition. It goes on to say, naturally, Paul's nauseous group of fans accepted his side of the story, that he was only there to peacefully protest and not to loot because of course they did. Of course they did. But that's a far cry from what non-influential looters and protesters are being charged with. Protesters without millions of YouTube fans are getting charged with a lot worse. While Jake Paul is getting by with just a slap on the wrist, for which he probably had to pay a fine and volunteered to wash puppies to pay back his debt to society, other protesters are looking at a lot worse. And this is another one, something that someone else posts. It says Logan Paul films a dead body in the Japanese forest and posts it. Jake Paul films himself looting during protests of a murdered innocent black man. The Pauls are the embodiment of white privilege, profiting off of others' suffering and getting away with it. Rightfully so. I believe that whole statement. In Los Angeles, protesters and looters are probably looking at federal charges, which could result in years of prison sentences. In New York City, more than 400 people are still awaiting to be processed in the filthy central booking holding cell, and judges are reluctant to proceed to process them, thus denying their rights due to due process. And in Central Illinois, young adults with no criminal records are being hit with mob charges for their participation in the protests, while being accused of looting at a Target. It does not seem to matter. We saw Jake Paul on camera in the thick of things. It doesn't seem to matter. He subsequently issued an half-baked apology to save himself from getting hit with serious charges. And it really doesn't seem to matter that he and his brother Logan have made a career out of disrespecting people, acting like fools, and being entitled white boys. Once again, Jake Paul's privilege serves him, something that Black and Latino ex-protesters cannot say. And until such time that they are treated the same way in the eyes of the law, the protests will continue. Disclaimer: the opinions expressed in this article do not necessarily reflect the views of ccn.com. And basically, that's the truth. Jake Paul, he is a despicable human being. His whole family is despicable. You can wrap them up with Tanner Morgan and the avocado guy and Nision. They are the degenerates of YouTube. And let me just say that my statements does not reflect YouTube's views, because they make YouTube a lot of money. I'm not saying that's the case why they back them so much, but whatever. Um, I will, however, say that again, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, his father, the pedophile, all of them need to be locked away, and they need to serve their day in court, and they need to be arrested. Each and every last one of them. I do not know how a person can get away with so much that they have gotten away with, from filming the dead person in the suicide forest to the various pranks that they have done, the countless of people that they have hurt, their father allegedly having inappropriate relations with an underage girl, so on and so forth. I mean, the list is long and it varies, but as you can see, their white privilege is the thing that will keep them out of their buttercream white skin is what keeps them out the path of law enforcement. And the sad thing about it is that there are people out here that enable these a-holes to continue to be a stain on society, regardless of what side of the fence you're on. They're not role models. They sell products to children underage, which coincidentally YouTube frowns upon. And they are just some of the worstest types of human beings that could ever have been written into existence. And it doesn't surprise me that they got away with it again. They are entitled little tars, and they will always be that way. It's just disgusting how law enforcement and people that like Jay, the Paul brothers, and the Peto father will come to their defense. Oh, he's a changed man. He's apologized. If a person has a brick and you're walking down the street, and every day that you walk down the street, the person just throws a brick at your face and hits you in your face with the brick, how many times are you going to allow that person to hit you in your face with a brick before you say, you know what, enough is enough? And that's one of the best ways that I can sum it up when it comes to Jake Paul and his brother and his father and all the people that surround him. In my opinion, they are trash. And yeah, pretty much. So with that being said, you guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Please don't forget to comment. I know I'm going to get some comments off of that because it's Jake and Paul and them. I really don't care. I don't like them. They are by far trash. Period. Like it, love it, leave it. And I'll talk to y'all later.